Actually, giving employees feedback when delegating tasks is one of the fundamental elements of human resource management. And if you do a feedback consistently with employees, it helps with improving job performance, improving accountability in the workplace, and improving employees' job satisfaction. But there are some tips to doing it effectively. And the first thing for managers and owners to remember, and supervisors, is to be very timely. So feedback needs to occur as quickly as possible after the action and the behavior occurred. If you wait hours or days, worse yet, to give the feedback, then sometimes the employee has forgotten details. You may have forgotten details. So the first tip is to be timely, as quickly as possible. The second tip is for the feedback to be very specific, to try to quantify what you're talking about. So as an example, let's say you wanted to talk to an employee about their tardiness. Rather than saying, gosh, you're tardy all the time, instead you would want to say, I noticed on your time card that you were tardy 5 times and you were 15 to 30 minutes late. Because those are facts, and those we wouldn't debate. So it's much more powerful for the feedback to be quantifiable and very specific. And then the last tip that I would give you is for folks to remember to focus on the behavior of the employee, not the employee themselves. So don't focus on intent, don't focus on attitude, but the actual behavior. So an example in that instance would be, let's say we have an employee that was not friendly and was rude to a client. If you say, well, gosh, you were really rude to Mrs. Smith, well, what does that mean? You know, it's very vague, and it's hard for the employee to know what they would need to do to improve. But if you say, I noticed that you kept cutting off Mrs. Smith every time she tried to explain to you what her concerns were, or you didn't ask Mrs. Jones if it was okay to put her on hold before you just put the line on hold. Those are specific behaviors that the employee can say, oh, okay, now I know what I need to do differently. So the thing about focusing on behavior is that not only is that effective feedback, but then the employee is less likely to become defensive. So giving effective feedback, the employee will be more receptive to that feedback. It will help build trust in the workplace, and it really helps open up the lines of communication.